Alright, what's going on, guys? So, it is Monday night, finished work, enjoying a Waikato. Bloody good. Just come down here, doing a few things on the hilux. So what I've been doing is, I said it earlier in the build, that the wiring loom on that one was just way too manky. It's been cut and spliced and fucked with. So what I'm going to do is try and use the diesel wiring loom, and a benefit of using the wiring loom out of the diesel is that once I blow this petrol motor up, I am going to convert it to diesel. I want to put a TD27 out of a Terrano in it, because they make a bit more power than the L series Toyota motors. They're cheaper, and they're probably stronger too, so it seems like a wise idea to put one of those in there. So what I'm having to do is use the wiring loom out of the diesel, like I said, shit. But what I need to do is find all the wires to the necessary components, like the starter motor, the alternator wires. And with the L series Toyota motors, they have the alternator on that side and starter on this side, I believe. Whereas on this motor, starter's that side, alternator's this side. So my wiring loom's back to front. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I've found what I believe is the alternator plug here, because it looks like the alternator plug. However, my alternator's on this side, so I'm going to have to take some of the loom out of that one and splice it into here without cutting that off. Well, I might just cut that off, see what happens, and run the wire up and around and down to the alternator. But what I have been trying to do is, well, what I did when I first got here is I started to put the terminals on. So I haven't had any power running through this thing yet, but where is it? The negative terminal. I'll put that on. First time this cab's had power running through its wiring loom or its fuse box in 12 years. But look, we have ignition lights and all that sort of stuff. So that's all working, battery gauge is working, instrument lights are even working. Sweet. So I did just turn the key to start, and as you can hear, the starter relay there is working mint. So I just need to find the right wires, and the way I'm going to do that is with this sweet tail light setup. So what I'm going to do is hook one side to the negative terminal, and then I'm just going to go around, and that wire there, I'm just going to prod it into the different plugs, like say this one here, the single plug that I think will be the starter motor solenoid plug, until I can get that light to turn on. Alright, after a long while and having to crack another Waikato, I believe I've found the right wire. So it's this single wire here. So I've got my light plugged in to a negative, and I've got it plugged into there. I'll go turn the key and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I'm turning the key to start, which would simulate me cranking the engine over. And you'll also hear the starter relay click. So that tells me that that is the positive for the starter solenoid. So now what I can go ahead and do is run this wire, or a trace off of that wire, over to my starter motor, and then I've got this thing turning over on the key with the diesel wiring loom. Okay, so the next wire I need to find is a constant 12 volt as soon as I turn the key on, and that's going to power the coil. So the coil needs a constant 12 volts while the engine's running. So I need that. I need a feed from the key that's going to be on when the key's on, and I have just found that right there. So there's my constant 12 volts. So now I've got a constant 12 volts for the coil. I've got a switched one for the starter motor. Fuck, I think that's about all I need. It's that easy when you're playing around with carbureted motors. Alright, it is Tuesday today. So yesterday I drank a few Waikatos and fucked around with some wiring. Found me a positive for the coil, starter motor switch, had a few beers and then fucked off home. So today, Red Bull. What I'm going to do for an hour or two to keep myself busy is go around and just wire brush some of this back, spray some rust kill on it, and hopefully it comes up not too. Also just picked 6 cans of this up, from Topaz Paints in Hastings for 25 bucks a can plus just, so it's about $170 all up. That is the texture coat, so it's not going to be a flat paint, it's going to be like a textured, like sort of like a filing cabinet hammer type finish, but even more texture than that, kind of like what the new Ford Raptors come out in. The reason for doing that is I can be a little bit bodgy with whatever the hell I do here. The texture, cover it all up. Alright, I've been around and wire brushed it and used the wire wheel on my drill. The wire wheel didn't get in very far, but the wire brush got in far enough. It's opened up a few holes. But what I'll do now is go around with my rust kill, spray rust kill all through it, and what it'll do is I tried a little bit there, and if my camera will focus, of course not, you can kind of see it. So it's sort of turned it from rust to kind of like a vivid colour, kind of like a blacky sort of, I don't know, it's a weird colour, but what it does is it's sort of just like an acid, I guess, and it neutralises the rust, kills it, and stops it from coming back. And it also acts like a primer, so I'll spray it all around here. First I'll go around though with my air gun and blow out any debris, and then fill it with rust kill and let that dry for the next day or so, and then I'll go around with a little bit of bog and just fill in the holes, and then primer over that, and hopefully it sort of lasts, you know, a couple of years with a bit of luck.
Dad, use your phone. To call Unison? No, as support.
Alright, so it sort of sprays on white. I've sprayed a generous amount all over it, and as it reacts it starts turning that tinge of blue colour. Like I said, it sort of looks like vivid, I reckon, and then as you sort of get down here you can sort of see that's kind of it when it's cured a little bit longer. Alright, here's one of the bigger rust situations we've got going on. So I've got a flappy disc on my grinder and I grind it back, rust kill it. I'm not really going to be able to fill this one with bog. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here yet, whether I take a cut out of the other cab and have to get it welded in at some stage, or I don't know, we'll see what happens. So actually once you open that up you can tell that that's obviously the line where the roof skin and we'd call this the C-pillar meet, because it's a fairly straight line. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, hopefully we'll fill it. Maybe we'll just fill it with heaps of bog. You know, just shitloads of bog, sweet as. But for now, spray some of our CRC rust converter in there. Get some of that in there. Alright, I've been going over lots of various places, like there and along there, over there, and also inside the cab and all there and over there. So what I'm going to do next is the cab. Nice. The cab's in pretty good condition, body work wise, ready to paint sort of thing, other than the rust holes. But the well side, the deck, is yeah, it's pretty bad. So it's been bogged up before and it's all sort of starting to fall out and bubble, bit shit. So I'm going to get me flappy disc on the grinder and just try and grind out the areas that are a bit shit, fill them up with bog, and then I'll be able to put the old texture coat over the top of it. Alright, this is where I'm going to leave it. It's the end of Tuesday night. I've been grinding back the cracks in the bog on the well side and it's revealed some pretty fucking shady shit. So there's heaps of rust in it. Bit of a disappointment. But what I will do, this side's even worse, so there's just cracked bog everywhere, so I've been grinding it back so I can fill it back over with some bog and it'll look good with the texture coat on. So while I'm uploading this tonight, I'm going to go on Trade Me and try to find a cheap deck, because I think a replacement deck at this point will be far short easier. Yeah.